In 1929, something extraordinary happened in southeastern Nigeria. Thousands of women, market traders, mothers, and leaders rose up to confront the British colonial system. They had no guns, no political office, no voice in government, yet they made history. This is the Untold Nigeria. In the late 1920s, British colonial administration introduced a new system of taxation in eastern Nigeria. They had already imposed direct taxes on men, but now rumors spread that women would be taxed too, on their property, their farms, and even their heads. It began in Aba, a bustling trade town where women dominated the markets. When a colonial officer and his local warrant chief, Okugo, arrived to count households, the women saw it as a sign that taxes were coming. One woman, Nwanyeruwa, a widow and palm oil trader, refused to be counted. When Okugo insisted, she shouted in anger, "You want to count me as your property?" That moment, a simple act of defiance sparked the revolution. Within days, word spread across villages. Using an ancient network of women's communication called Olulu, there is women's gathering, and palm front messages, thousands of women began to organize. They marched, sang protest songs, and demanded to see the colonial officers. Their song became their weapon. What we women want is not taxation, but fairness. By December 1929, more than 10,000 women gathered outside the native huts in Oloko, Aba, and Owerri. They surrounded government buildings, beat drums, and danced in circles to demand justice. The British officers were stunned. They had never seen women organized at this scale. Reports described hordes of shouting women, but what they didn't understand was that this was organized resistance. The women had leaders like Ikonia, Nwanyeruwa, and Mary Okeze, who later became one of the few educated voices defending the protesters. The colonial police panicked. They opened fire in several towns, Aba, Owerri, Opodo, and Ikot Abasi, killing more than 50 women and injuring dozens. But even in grief, the women refused to retreat. The protests forced the British to back down. They suspended the new tax system and set up commissions of inquiry to investigate. Even more importantly, the colonial government was forced to rethink how they ruled. For the first time, British authority began to include women's voices in discussions about local governance. The Women's War became a blueprint for later nationalist movements. The Aba Women's War wasn't just a protest, it was a revolution of dignity. It showed that power isn't always held in weapons or offices, but in unity and courage. From the uprising came a ripple that inspired later generations, from Olufunmilayo of Sonkoti to the Market Women's Union that funded Nigeria's independence movement. Today, when you walk through Aba or Owerri, the air still carries their songs of women who dared to say no to empire. Every story like this reminds us Nigeria is more than history, it is heritage. If you believe these stories deserve to be heard, don't just watch, be part of it. Subscribe, share, and let's bring the Untold Nigeria to light, one story at a time. This is the Untold Nigeria.